Hi there, how are you? My name is Simon, and today we are going to talk about 4 different ways you can improve your guitar solos. Okay, so we're going to talk about 4 things today. We're going to talk about learning the shapes. We're going to talk about singing when you're improvising. If you've played a good phrase, repeat it. And the last thing is we're going to think about the chords that are being played underneath and try and match them with the notes that we're playing. If you want to skip forward to any of those sections, I'll put chapters in the link below. So number 1, we're going to talk about scales. Now, the key of our little jam track that I've put together, which secretly is I'd Rather Go Blind, is G major. Something that you can do which is really, really good at the very beginning of your guitar soloing odyssey is learn all the pentatonic scales. Now, a minor pentatonic scale is just a subset of a major scale. So in the key of G major, we have all the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. In G major pentatonic, we basically have G, A, B, D, E, G. So another way to talk about that is just an E minor pentatonic. I always like to think of the relationship between G major and E minor as you have 3 steps. Somebody a long time ago told me this silly little thing that helped me remember it at the time when I was learning. So a major sort of thing is quite a happy thing. And Johnny comes to school, he's standing at the top of the steps. Some mean kid kicks him down the stairs and he falls 1, 2, 3 steps. And when he's at the bottom, he's sad. And therefore it's a minor sort of thing. I hope that helps you remember as well. So always, so G, E minor, that's the relative minor. In C major, the relative minor is, so you go C, B, B flat, A minor. The relative minor of F is F, E, D sharp, D minor, and so on and so forth. You can see how that works. So if you learn your minor pentatonic patterns, so for example this one, that is a great place to start. So you effectively can start your thing, your track, sorry. Great way to practice this is just find a track on the internet and just play in time. Okay. After you can do that for a while, maybe play double time. Maybe you could play triplets. So like, it's very important that you focus on learning one thing at a time. I know it's super enticing to kind of go, oh, I'm going to play there, and then I'm going to learn all the different patterns all at the same time. But honestly, from experience and my experience of teaching lots and lots of people over the 30 years that I've been teaching guitar, is that if you learn one pattern at a time, that is going to be much better. And you're really going to get it. And once you've learned the first pattern, then move into the second pattern. If you would like to get a pentatonic sheet, you can get the chart at www.simonmorell.com/free chart. So we're going to use that pattern and get up and down our scales. So okay. After you've learnt that pattern, then come back to the same exercise and do it with pattern 2. Just at first, just play up. Okay? And then just try and do fancier stuff. A great exercise is to play in 3s so that you get or you start 3 and then you track back 1 and then you come down the next 3. So for example like this, so you get you see what I mean? So that try it with hammer-ons. Pull-offs. But like the really important thing is that you're just super on top of each pattern as you go. Whilst you're learning each pattern, what is a great idea as well is if you are able to kind of go la da 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 da, so you can kind of hear the notes in your head. This is going to come in handy in our next step. So we've got la da 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 da. You don't have to be a great singer. It's just so that they go in your head, and then you can hear the na 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 na. That is a really great sort of music education sort of thing to get done with those scales. So hopefully that helps. That is tip number 1. Tip number 2, once you've learnt your patterns, it's time to try and start playing little phrases, whatever comes to you. There's no rules, it's awesome. The only rule is that you stay in our little pattern. But I want you to sing at the same time. Now, it's going to be a bit weird, I totally get it, but ba 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 ba, ba ba ba. If you sing at the same time, it'll get you into the habit of playing phrases. It's a bit like when you have a conversation with somebody, everybody's got that mate who just rah, 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 and it looks like they don't breathe, right? And it's not real fun listening to somebody just talk at you the whole time, right? And you've got to think that your guitar solo is going to be a bit like that. It's a bit of a conversation, so that you have... And I'm breathing, and I'm thinking like... See what I mean? So all the time be thinking that you're singing whilst you're playing the scales, and this will prevent it sounding like scale patterns, right? So that's always one of the big complaints I have when I teach people these scale patterns, is they're like, oh, well, I get this. Oops. I get... It sounds like a scale pattern because you're playing it like a scale pattern. If you play it like a conversation, you'll have a better idea of how it kind of works, right? Okay, number 3, tip number 3 is, let's say you're playing along here. And you're like, oh wow, that was an awesome lick I just played. Do you know a great trick is just to play exactly the same thing again. So. So there I effectively played almost exactly the same thing 3 times, just with a slightly different ending each time. And that really engages the listener, and the listener will be like, oh, this is interesting. And when people hear stuff, the same lick again, they like that, all right? So it's good for your brain to kind of go, oh yeah, I recognize this bit. Oh, I like, you think of like hooky pop songs, right? And you'll hear the melody go round and round and round. And it will be the same melody, and that's how it gets in your head, and that's how these things get stuck in your head. Think of a chorus of any famous song, and it'll have roughly the same notes, maybe slightly different at the end. Okay, number 4 is to try and think about the chords that are actually in the underlying song. So for example, we've got 2 bars of G here. If I play a G over that, and then an A. Now the next chord is going to be D, and then back to G. So I've got G, A, A again. D. And then G. So that is an excellent tip. If you start thinking this way, as soon as you start playing solos, then in the future when you want to try and do more complicated things, landing on different degrees of the scale in the chord itself, it'll just feel more natural to you. So over time, instead of landing on the G, for example, over a G chord, you could land on any of the notes in the chord, right? So the other notes in a G major chord are B and D. So this note here is a B, and here's a D. So if I play the same thing, that's a C, that's the minor third of A minor. And I'm gonna land here on an F sharp. Whoops. But you see what I mean? And I finished up there on a G. Because they match, so those notes obviously matched to the chord, it feels like a super comfortable thing, and it feels like a really good way of finishing your phrase. So if you had a phrase of G, there's a B, here's A minor, here's a C, and then we're gonna go C, and then up to D, F sharp, A to G. Looking at the camera, not looking at my fingers. Anyway, so hopefully those are 4 really, really good tips. Just to summarize, we had learn the shapes first, learn them pattern by pattern, please do. All right, number 2, match each of the notes with a sung note, like la, 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 la. 2, yeah, just sing with the improv. Number 3 was, if you've played a good phrase, play it again. You know, if you've played something that you think was kick-ass, do it again, all right? Maybe just change one of the notes at the end of it. And the final thing is just start to think about chords and try and match the notes that are appearing in your scale. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and do subscribe to my channel. There's new videos every week on Saturday and Tuesdays. If you would like to support the channel, you can do that at my Patreon page, which is www.patreon.com/Simon Morel. Thanks again for watching. I really, really do appreciate it, and I will see you next time. All the best. Bye for now.